Welcome back to the shadows. I see you're still brave enough to join us on this journey into the darkest corners of the human experience. You're not afraid of the things that go bump in the night, are you? Good, because tonight we're stepping into the chilling realm where the veil between our world and the spectral plane grows thin. We're talking about those haunted places where the dead refuse to stay gone, those places where whispers cling to the air like cobwebs. Tonight, my friends, we dine with ghosts. Welcome to the Phantom Feast tables set for ghosts, a collection of 3 spine-chilling horror stories that will leave you questioning if you're truly alone when you sit down for dinner. Let's begin. Imagine, if you will, a grand old manor perched atop a windswept hill. Picture its crumbling facade, the gargoyles leering down like malevolent guardians. Now step inside and feel the chill that seeps from the very stones. This, my friends, is Blackwood Manor, and it houses a secret more chilling than any grave. Deep within the manor's heart lies the banquet hall, a cavernous space of once grand feasts and joyous celebrations. Now only silence reigns, broken only by the whisper of wind through broken window panes and the scuttling of unseen things. The air hangs heavy with the spectral residue of laughter long faded, replaced by an unspoken dread that seeps into your very bones. They say the banquet hall is haunted by the spirits of a family poisoned during a lavish feast generations ago. Their souls, forever bound to the scene of their demise, wander the decaying hall, their anguished cries echoing through the empty halls. Some say the family patriarch, driven mad by grief and tainted wine, still paces the length of the head table, his spectral hand clutching a phantom goblet. Others whisper of the ghostly clatter of silverware, the spectral scraping of chairs, as if an unseen feast is perpetually in progress. But beware, dear listener, for the spirits of Blackwood Manor are not content with mere haunting. They crave company, a captive audience for their eternal suffering. Those foolish enough to spend the night in the banquet hall often wake to the bone-chilling sensation of unseen hands upon their throats, the stench of decay filling their nostrils. They say if you listen closely, you can hear the faint clinking of glasses, the ghostly murmur of conversation, a phantom feast in full swing. And just when you think the unseen guests might welcome you to their table, you feel a cold, ethereal breath on your ear, whispering a single chilling truth: you are the feast. So, my friends, the next time you sit down to a meal, remember the haunted banquet hall of Blackwood Manor. Remember the family forever trapped in their spectral feast. And be thankful that you, at least for tonight, are still among the living. But be warned, their hunger is insatiable, and they're always searching for new guests to join their macabre banquet. Our next tale takes us from the haunted halls of Blackwood Manor to a seemingly ordinary antique shop, nestled on a quiet side street, its windows filled with forgotten treasures and whispered secrets. It was within this unassuming shop that a young couple, eager to furnish their new home, stumbled upon their doom in the form of an ornately carved dining table. Crafted from dark, polished wood and etched with strange, almost sinister-looking symbols, the table was undeniably beautiful, its craftsmanship exquisite. The shopkeeper, a wizened old man with eyes that seemed to hold ancient secrets, warned them of the table's history, of a darkness that clung to it like a shroud. Legend had it that the table was once the prized possession of a wealthy merchant, a ruthless man who amassed his fortune through treachery and deceit. His greed, they say, knew no bounds, and he made countless enemies who cursed his name and everything he owned. One fateful night, as the merchant hosted a lavish dinner party, a group of cloaked figures stormed the manor, their faces hidden behind grotesque masks. They slaughtered the merchant and his guests, leaving no one alive. The dining table, splattered with blood and echoing with the screams of the dying, became a conduit for a curse of unimaginable power. The young couple, dismissing the shopkeeper's warnings as mere folklore, purchased the table and brought it home, eager to make it the centerpiece of their new life together. But from the moment the table was placed within their home, a palpable darkness descended upon their lives. At first, it was just a series of unsettling occurrences, flickering lights, disembodied whispers, objects moving on their own. But as the days turned into nights, the phenomena grew more sinister. The couple found themselves plagued by nightmares, vivid and terrifying, their dreams invaded by images of the gruesome massacre that had stained the table's history. Then came the voices. At first, faint whispers seeping from the very grain of the wood, growing louder with each passing night. They were the voices of the murdered guests, their agony and rage echoing through the years, seeking vengeance on anyone foolish enough to possess the cursed table. Driven to the brink of madness, the couple tried to rid themselves of the table, but it was no use. The table, it seemed, had chosen them, and it would not be denied its gruesome purpose. One night, as the voices reached a fever pitch, the couple met a gruesome end. Their bodies found sprawled across the table, their faces contorted in masks of terror. The cursed table, they say, vanished from the crime scene, resurfacing years later in that same antique shop, its dark wood polished to a shine, the bloodstains long gone, but its sinister aura as potent as ever. It sits there still, waiting for its next victims, a silent testament to the insatiable hunger of curses and the folly of those who ignore the whispers of the past. Our tale brings us to the desolate moors of northern England, where a solitary inn stands against the relentless wind, the Grey Gull Inn, a weathered but welcoming haven for weary travellers. But be warned, dear listener, for the inn harbours a secret, whispered by locals in hushed tones. They say that every full moon, a ghostly feast takes place within its walls, a spectacle as chilling as it is inexplicable. It begins subtly with the scent of roasting meat wafting from the sealed kitchen, the faint clinking of silverware. As the moon climbs higher, the sounds intensify. Laughter, the scraping of chairs, the murmur of conversation in an ancient language. Those brave enough to investigate find the inn's common room transformed. A long oak table, usually bare, is laden with a feast fit for royalty. Roasted meats glisten under flickering candlelight. Exotic fruits spill from silver bowls, and crystal goblets brim with red wine. Yet for all the opulence, an undeniable chill hangs in the air. The laughter is devoid of warmth, the clinking glasses held by unseen hands. For this feast is not meant for the living. It is a gathering of spectres, souls lost to the treacherous moors, drawn to the inn for one night of spectral revelry. The innkeeper, an old woman with eyes that reflect the wisdom of generations, warns guests to bar their doors and ignore the sounds of revelry. To engage with the ghostly diners, she cautions, is to invite them into your soul, to become bound to their spectral feast for all eternity. But curiosity, as they say, killed the cat. And on this night, a young scholar, skeptical of the innkeeper's warnings, decides to witness the ghostly feast firsthand. He creeps down the creaking stairs, each step filled with a growing sense of dread. The sounds of merriment grow louder, the air thick with the scent of lavender and decay. He peeks into the common room and beholds a sight that will forever haunt his nightmares. Around the table sit a dozen figures, their forms shifting and shimmering like flames. They are a motley crew, knights in rusted armor, ladies in rotting finery, their faces frozen in grotesque gaiety. One of the figures, a skeletal hand clutching a goblet filled with what looks like blood, turns towards him. Its eyes, two burning embers in its skull-like face, lock onto his, and a grin spreads across its visage. The scholar, paralyzed with terror, can only watch as the figure rises and beckons him forward. "Join us," it hisses, its voice a hollow rasp that claws at his sanity. There is always room for one more at our table. The scholar, his mind teetering on madness, flees back to his room, the spectral laughter echoing in his ears. He barricades the door, But the sounds of the feast continue throughout the night, a constant reminder of the horrors he has witnessed. From that night forward, the young scholar is never the same. He renounces his studies, plagued by nightmares of the ghostly feast. Some say he eventually returned to the moors, drawn back to the inn by an unseen force. They say he joined the feast, his soul forever bound to the spectral diners of the Grey Gull Inn. So, dear listener, remember this tale the next time you hear a strange noise in the night. Remember the ghostly feast of the Grey Gull Inn, and be thankful that you are warm and safe in your bed, for there are some doors best left unopened, some feasts best left unattended. For in the world of the unseen, curiosity can be a dangerous and ultimately fatal indulgence. The table is set, the candles are lit, and the ghosts are hungry. We've journeyed into the heart of darkness tonight, haven't we? But remember, these are just stories, or are they? Thank you for joining us on this eerie journey. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more spine-tingling tales. Until next time, stay safe and beware of the shadows. You never know when you might stumble upon a phantom feast of your own. Sweet dreams.